Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today in the Room Selection live chat. I'm Dr. Andy Johnson with Housing and Residential Education, and today we are speaking with the one, the only David Kloiber, Associate Director for Operations and Outreach, all about the room selection process. So welcome, Dave. I'm glad to be the first time that you and I get to do this.
Thank you, Andy. It's been a pleasure working with everybody, and I'm looking forward to working with you now.
Same. So as you know that I'm not Julia O'Hara, who usually hosts these, so I'm honored to be able to step in for her. So this again is all about the room selection process, especially for our new students who are joining us, as well as the families that associate our new students. So if you have any questions during the broadcast, please drop them in the comments and we will get to as many of them as we can during the show. So Dave, you ready to get started?
I'm always ready.
Awesome. All right. So first question up, we're going to just start with the basics. So when does the fall spring room selection begin and or end for new students?
Sure. So fall room selection, we are looking forward to the beginning for our new students will be on Wednesday, and that will be at 4 p.m. will be the first initial start time for our new incoming students for the fall and summer of 2021. And so we are going to be actually sending out notifications beginning tomorrow morning as to what your start time will be, because we can't have everybody just log in at once and try to select a room. So we do try to really control the flow of traffic on our software. And so those who are ready to select a room, we will send out a notification to you via your email. So please make sure you're checking your USF email beginning tomorrow morning, and you'll see the time that you are able to start selecting your room. Now, because we have room selection starting tomorrow for our new students, room selection will actually end for all of you actually way out on June 30th. And so you have time to select a room. However, if you're in a special population, let's say you're in the Honors College, you'll have to select your room in the Honors College by June 15th. And if you're in the Student Support Services or SSS program, again, June 15th is your deadline to select your room in the program. And the same thing for the ACE program. And so you want to make sure you're selecting your rooms in time, and you'll receive more and more information about that as the summer goes on. Because if you don't select a room, we're going to say, hey, you can select a room. Why don't you go in and take care of that?
Awesome. So that's really great information. So Dave, let me ask this. So you said that everybody has a time or on their email, right? Talk a little bit about why that's so important, that to not try to log into the system before your time. What are those ramifications? What happens? Does anything happen in your selection, like time frame or your process? Talk a little bit more about that.
So imagine the room selection process like Black Friday. You know, you're getting ready to go into the store and all these people have lined up outside. The door is only so wide. And so we've made that door wide enough to allow a nice flow of people to go through. And if everybody rushes the door at once, a store sometimes will lock the doors because they don't want a mad crowd inside their store. Now for us, you'll break the wall down. And so the door will be gone and the system will shut down. And this actually happened to us a couple of years ago where about 1,000 people tried to log in at once and our system just could not handle it and it completely shut down. Something that would take maybe 2 or 3 minutes to do was taking 8 hours for somebody to complete. And so we don't want that to happen to our students. And so we're asking you, please, 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 we're going to send you that email to your USF email account. It's going to say your start time's 4 o'clock, your start time's 4:30, your start time's 5 o'clock. And we will issue start times from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. because all of you should hopefully be home from school. because we want our students to select a room. We don't want your parents are probably going to help you out, or your guardians, or whoever's going to be helping you. But we really want you, the student, to select a room because you're going to be the ones living in it. Now, we do ask, make sure you talk to your parent or guardian who may be helping you pay for that room to make sure that whatever room you select is going to be within your budget. And we've got a lot of hints. I'm going to show you what the whole process looks like later on in the broadcast, but we've got a lot of hints on our forms to really give you an idea of what you're supposed to be doing.
It's a great point. Great point. So, so Dave, just to reiterate, the new student process and selecting times is different than our current student process, right? In selecting times, right?
Yes, definitely. The current process actually happened between February 22nd and February 26th. And so we ran a week of a time where just our continuing students, those who are currently here at USF, could participate. Now, if they wanted a particular roommate who was a new student, we did make that possible. We get very few of those requests a year, but we do try to honor them because the roommate pairing is really important to us. And so we did make that possible, and very few new students actually were involved in that process. But we will reopen, however, the selection process for our continuing students on Monday, March 15th at, I believe it's either 9 or 10 a.m., but we'll make sure that that information is out there to all of our students.
Great, great. All right, so Dave, we have a couple of questions. Let's see if we can do a couple here. So Elizabeth asks, do students have to have their immunization forms submitted prior to applying for housing?
No, you don't have to actually submit your form prior to applying, but you need to have your form submitted at least for the 2 or 3 items that we require to be completed for immunizations before you can select your room. So if you remember, there are 4 steps to an application process: apply, pay your application fee, submit your orientation registration. And as of last time I checked, we had about 731 students that already did it today. And then finally, also submit your immunizations. Now, you don't necessarily have to do any of those in a particular order, with the exception of do your application and pay your application fee, because you're not going to have an application fee until after you've done an application. But the other 2 you could do ahead of time, or you could do it after you submit your application. But you need to do all 4 of those steps prior to selecting your room.
Excellent, excellent. All right, so I'm gonna hop over. I got a couple of questions about occupancy, Dave. My twins, 0513 asks, are freshman dorms maximum of 2 people, and what are the options? And then has a subsequent question, and I lost it, so I'm just going to stick with that one for right now. So, so do freshmen have or a new student have a maximum capacity of 2 people, or what are their options for their selection?
Sure. We have a variety of different options available for all of our students, new and continuing. There's only one there are a couple locations that may not be available to you as a new first-year student, and really the only location I can think of off the top of my head would be Cypress Apartments. We do say that transfers that are new to the university or continuing students are the only ones who are eligible to go into Cypress Apartments, and we do that just because it's our largest apartment style on campus, and so we thought if you're gonna upgrade while you're living on campus, you're going to upgrade to Cypress Apartments. It's got a beautiful kitchen and so on. However, we offer single rooms, double rooms. We even have a couple 4 triple rooms that are available to all of our students. And those are in apartment style, they're in traditional style, they're in suite style. And I'm going to show you later on how to just do a search for what you're looking for. You're looking for a double room with a shared bathroom and suite style. You'll be able to search by those parameters, and the software will tell you exactly not only how many there are, but where they are, and you can select from there. And so there are plenty of options available.
Awesome. So I actually did find my two twins' other question, and it was, how does the process work? And as you just said, you're going to kind of walk through that in just a few minutes or so.
Oh, yeah.
Leslie Harrison asks, can you get a single occupancy room using Florida Prepaid? And I figured since we were already talking about the types and availability, this would be a good question to ask, because we know a lot of our students, parents or guardians, have been saving up and paying for Florida Prepaid for a while. So can you talk a little bit about what that means and what options may be available using Florida Prepaid?
Sure. There's a variety of different types of Florida Prepaid money. There's Florida Prepaid tuition, and there's Florida Prepaid housing. Now, depending on what other kind of scholarships you have, that money goes into your account. Whether it's tuition, let's say all your tuition is already paid for, that Florida Prepaid tuition money will go and pay other things, whatever's on your account. And but however, for housing, the amount that you'll get for your housing is really based on what kind of room you're going to be living in. So Florida Prepaid pays up to the cost of a double occupancy room with air conditioning in a suite in the Village. And so off the top of my head, unfortunately, I can't remember the exact cost of that, but I could look it up. But I can tell you that for next year, the cost of a double suite in the Village is actually more than the cost of a single room in one of our apartments on campus. And so you could actually live in a single room and still have it completely covered by Florida Prepaid.
That's a great point. So a lot of options is what I'm hearing you say.
Yep.
Depending on where you want to live, the proximity to your academics or maybe your social engagements, things like that. A lot of options there. So,
matter of fact, I'm going to look up that rate just to be sure that everybody knows that this is how much the double suite in the Village will cost for next year, and so you know what your maximum price point would be if you wanted it to be completely covered by Florida Prepaid, and that amount is $4,675 per semester, and that's the cost of a double room in a suite style in the Village.
All right, so can you say that one more time for everybody?
Sure. So
a dollar amount.
Maximum amount that Florida Prepaid will pay for a semester of housing at USF will be $4,675.
$4,675. So my Florida Prepaid will cover everything so long as it is under that dollar amount per semester.
That dollar amount or under, correct.
Perfect. That's great. That's a great thing. So a couple of questions I want to just touch on right quick. I see that we have a lot of questions regarding summer B housing or summer housing in general. For this moment, we're going to focus on the fall spring, but I promise you in this broadcast, we will also discuss summer housing as well, the options that are available, as well as the process and timelines for that. So just hang tight if you are looking to learn a little bit more about summer housing. Another question we have on here from Gia is regarding, will this apply to St. Pete campus? We will actually be doing some live streams from St. Pete on Thursday. I don't have a definitive time just yet, but watch out for our Facebook page, and we will be streaming live in Facebook for information regarding St. Pete. So I will be on campus at St. Pete in the beautiful St. Petersburg city. It's absolutely gorgeous on Thursday. So just stay tuned for that, and we'll answer a lot more questions regarding St. Pete on Thursday.
I can also answer that just to help people out. They don't actually do the online selection process in St. Pete right now. That'll probably happen in the upcoming years to come, probably as early as the spring, if not next fall. But at this point, they will be doing selection, or they'll assign you based on the responses on your application.
Awesome. So that's good. At least a good start there. So, all right. So let's scan some questions and see what else we've got. Let's see. So one of this kind of a nice little safety question here. Are the dorms and windows hurricane ready? Yes, we are in the center of the lightning. We are the lightning capital of the world here. Our residence halls, in my time here, I think we've been through 3 or 4 hurricanes in the last almost 8 years, and all of them have weathered incredibly well. We do not have any significant damage or things like that usually after a hurricane. And I want to say one of them that came through was a 4 pushing a 5 in the category system. So we have very strong buildings, they're built incredibly well. And one of our standards is that we build our buildings to have at least a 40 or 50 year lifespan to them. So we make sure that they're in there for the long haul. So so answer that question. Dave, I see a lot of questions regarding the process. Do you want to take a few minutes and maybe we can kind of walk through what the process looks like?
Sure. Let me pull up my screen and then I'll share it.
Sounds good. So, all right.
All right, I'm sharing. You should see the homepage for housing.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and Dave, and the homepage is what everybody can see here in just a second or so. So ready when you are.
Okay, so I'm going to go through a few things. I'm going to first go through the process of selecting a roommate, because now that many of our new students are actually going to be ready to select housing, they're going to also be ready to determine a roommate group. And so first things first, you always got to log into the housing portal. That's a quick way to do it right from our webpage. You can also do that from MyVolspath. You can do it from Oasis. So there's a lot of different ways, or MyUSF, sorry. And so here's the housing portal. And so I've logged in. And so we've already done apply. I've already taken care of that, and I can see my application status by going to applications, status, checking my fall spring, because that's what I have. And this will work for all the other applications as well. But I happen to have whoops, I did the wrong one. I got to do that one. See that? I don't have a 2021 application. Oh, I guess I do. Oh, no, I canceled it. See that? So I went to the wrong page, so I'm going to hit the Bull U, and that takes me back to the home page, and we can go through this process again. Check my status. Fall spring. Reading is fundamental, everyone, so I got to read and make sure I'm doing the right one. There it is. And here's my application status. I am ready to go. I am ready to be assigned.
Dave?
Yes.
Dave, we had a quick question come in regarding some conflicting information. I just wanted to thank Joy for bringing this up. But before we get to this status, all of these items need to be marked complete, even immunizations, correct?
Yes, they all need to be. For this to say you are ready to assign, all your information needs to be complete.
So what needs to be completed for immunizations in order to be marked completed?
So there are 2 items for our domestic students that we are keying on, that you have either shown proof of or declined the meningitis vaccine, and shown proof of and or declined the hepatitis B vaccine. And so hepatitis B, remember, is a 2-part vaccine. So you may have already had 1 part, but you didn't have the other part, so you would not be complete. And then if you're an international student, you also have a requirement to provide a TB screening to make sure that you are clear for TB, but you can get a deferment on that requirement until you arrive on campus. So you should be clear to select your room if you've taken care of the other 2.
Can I ask one other follow-up question on this?
Sure,
so if it is, I was missing something on this screen, right? I noticed it Wednesday as I'm getting at 3:50. I'm getting ready to log in to select at 4 o'clock, and I'm missing something. If I submit it right then and there, will I still be able to be marked complete and get it, or is that something I should go online now and check sooner than later?
Well, you should always check sooner, especially for something like immunizations. It can take up to 2 days for our staff and student health services to actually get to your particular documentation. And so you really want to make sure that's taken care of early. If you have a question and let's say something here is missing, for one thing, you would not have gotten a selection time if something here is missing, because we're not going to send you an email if you're not ready to be assigned.
Okay.
We're going to send you an email saying, hey, something's missing. And we are sending out a bunch of those tomorrow as well, because we want to make sure that everybody is well aware of what else they need to get done in order to take care of getting their housing assignment. So if something's missing here, you can always scroll down. App status, agreement status not complete. You can email us. More than likely, it's, as it says here, maybe you're under 18 and your cosigner didn't get the email, or you sent it to the wrong email, you typed it in wrong, and so your parent or guardian is going to be co-signing for you. And so they'll need to email us with a specific language saying, I agree to the terms of the agreement. If your application fee is not complete, here's some links on how to get to that information or to request a fee deferment. If your immunization status is not complete, here's some ways that you can either get the form or review your account to maybe, because you have the ability to decline the hepatitis B and the meningitis, even if you intend on getting it later, or if you've already had it but you don't have the records, you can go in and decline it. Now, we always encourage you, please, please, please get the immunization. It's always in your best interest, but you don't have to. And then finally, orientation's not complete. Here's how to get to that. And if you have questions about your meal plan, we provide a link there as well.
That's a good point about immunizations. Is getting your vaccinations is if at all possible. It's highly encouraged, especially with this day and age. So.
And I'm going to say it now before I get a question about it. Are we requiring the COVID vaccine? We don't know. That's not a decision that I'm aware that USF has made. And so at this time, it is not a requirement for housing or for USF. That could change, but a lot of it will depend on when it's going to be available for those of us who are not 65 and older, or even 50 and older, right. and an educator. Right, you can also update your roommate matching questions here. So if I wanted to change one of my matching questions here, I can also update those here.
Excellent. All right.
So that's that screen. So we've looked at that. We're going to go back. And now, you know, I have a friend who's coming and I want to live with him and he wants to live with me, or at least I hope he does. So I'm going to go to my account and I'm going to go to roommate group manager and I'm going to invite him to be my roommate.
This is a good time because I'm seeing a lot of questions pop up right now about the roommates selection and grouping. Yep. So good timing.
And you can't do it until your application is ready for assignment. So if I clicked on this and I was not ready for assignment, this would tell me, I'm sorry, right now you don't have access because you're not ready to be assigned. And the reason we do that is because so many people say, oh, I want to live with my best friend. Well, they haven't even applied yet. And then they're upset with us because they couldn't put their roommate into a room. Well, your roommate's either hasn't applied or they're not ready yet, or worse, they basically unfriended you and didn't tell you.
Oh, that does happen.
We've gone through that, and that's what this process will help solve, for at least for us. So here's the roommate group manager creator. It's going to give you a whole bunch of information about forming groups, joining groups, leaving groups, and so on. And then here's some other questions. What if there's a different application? Well, we do allow some applications to live together, but some won't be able to because maybe they have to live in a specific location. Here's one that I know is in the question chat right now. Does the roommate group leader have to be the one to do room selection for our roommate group? The answer is no. The person with the best time is your best person to make your selection for you because they'll have the most options available. And then if you have other questions, always feel free to call us, email us. We're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. However, on Wednesday and Thursday night, just in case you're having some difficulty, we're open till 9 on the phones. And so we will be available to help you out if for some reason you run into a little snag.
Wait, so you're working later to help students through the process on Wednesday and Thursday night?
Oh yeah, we are going to quit at 5 o'clock on Friday, or at least as close to 5 as we can. We would like to start our weekend, but on Wednesday night and Thursday night, which are the first 2 nights, and I'm going to anticipate that we're going to get through everybody's start time by the end of Thursday. We're going to have the ability for everybody to log in and start their process if they so choose to.
Oh, it's fantastic news.
And so here's a roommate. I'm going to create a group. So I'm going to click the button. So here I am. I'm Screen Demo. Great name, right? And I'm the leader, and I'm going to invite somebody. Now we do have some rules. They have to be the same gender. And so I'm going to put in someone. I know she is not the same gender. Screen test. Found screen test. I want to submit screen test. And what happens? I'm sorry, it's a little small, but it says the person you are attempting to add does not have an allowable application type, or their application is not ready for assignment. As a result, they cannot be added to your roommate group. Now, if they did have an application that was ready and they were female, it would say, I'm sorry, but this person's gender does not match, and you cannot select them.
Okay.
So I'm going to select someone that I know will match.
Oh, is it Fake Guy?
Fake Guy.
Oh, you guys have been roommates for forever.
I found Fake Guy. You can also select by university ID, and that'll be really important. Let's say if your friend's name is Michael Smith. We've probably got 30 or 40 Michael Smiths that are in the software. And so you may need the university ID number from your friend in order to find them. So I found Fake Guy. I've invited Fake Guy. I'm only going to have a group of 2, so I'm going to submit my request. Now, here it goes. It says it's submitted. I can always go back and review it. And so then I'm back at the home page. Now, I happen to have logged in as Fake Guy as well. I mean, you guys can't do this, but I can. So let me go to Fake Guy. I'm in Fake Guy. And Fake Guy just got an email, and it says go to the housing portal and answer. So under my account, Fake Guy can now go in, go to Roommate Group Manager. There's only one that's available right now. We will be adding one for summer, for those who have questions about summer. And so again, same page, but now we've got at the bottom here, it's accept or decline the invitation from Screen Demo. Now, Fake Guy could have been invited by a whole bunch of people, and so there could be a number of different groups that have invitations for Fake Guy. Maybe he's a really popular guy.
He'd be real good.
Or he can say, you know what, I want to create my own group. But what's really nice about this software, if you remember a little bit earlier, I said, maybe you were unfriended and they just didn't tell you. If he accepts your invitation and then submits it, so that's done. And then he changes his mind and he wants to create his own group because, you know what, you two had a fight. 2 of us had a fight. We don't like each other anymore. You know, we had the same interest in the same person, and he won, or I won, and he doesn't like that. So he's going to log in and say, you know what, I want to create my own group. Well, you can only be in a group, one group at a time for this process. So you can be in a summer group and you can be in a fall spring group, but you can't be in 2 fall spring groups at the same time. So for him to either create a group or to make sure that you don't select me, select a room for me, I have to leave. And it says, are you sure you want to leave this group? Okay. Now I can create a new group if I want to. But when he left the group, I got an email saying Fake Guy has left your group. And so I automatically know that Fake Guy is no longer part of my group and he will not show up. So I'm going to actually leave that. I'm going to cancel because it only happens once I click submit. But I want to keep Fake Guy as my roommate for the demonstration purposes later on when we're doing room selection. So right now, Fake Guy should still be my roommate. I'm going to go in and double check. And here we go. And there's fake guy. He's still in there. Now I could also kick fake guy out of my group if I want to. But again, I want to keep fake guy, so I'm not going to make any changes. I'm going to cancel that. I'm going to go back. And now let's talk room selection. I have a roommate. I'm ready to select. It's my time to select. I'm going to click assign. And there's only one option right now, which is Fall Spring. And we'll talk more about when summer opens up, not this week, but next week for room selection. And here we go. We have room selection. Don't click room change self-service. You don't have a room yet.
I was going to ask.
You don't have a room yet.
Dave, can you talk about just what those two items are real quick before you move into room selection?
Once you select a room and you decide, maybe your roommate decides they're not coming to USF and they cancel. Or for some reason they can't live on campus and they've been approved to cancel their room. And you're like, well, I don't want to live there without fake guy anymore. So I'm going to go and try to get a single room because I only want to live with fake guy. If I have a room assignment, I can then go in until June 30th and look for a different room. Now, if I have a roommate, let's say fake guy and I are still together, but we don't want to live in that building anymore. Maybe we find out, oh, my room was right above a dumpster. I don't think we have any rooms that are right above a dumpster, but I'm just using that as an example because I had that when I was in college up north. And you didn't want to smell the dumpster. We're going to okay, we're going to move. We want to stay in the building, but we want to change rooms. Each of us has to go in here and look for a new room assignment. We can't move each other together, even though we're in a roommate group. But you can go into room change self-service and change your room.
Okay, so that's for a full room change.
That's a full room change, right?
Okay.
Now let's say fake guy makes a new friend who has a room on the other side, down the hall, and I meet. And he comes to me and says, would you switch with my new friend Bob down the hall? His roommate Joe is a great guy. I meet Joe. I'm like, oh yeah, I like Joe. I can live with Joe. And so Bob and I would each go in and request a room swap. And when we both have a mutual room swap, my staff will go in and actually swap the two assignments. So that's what a room swap is.
So that's a 1-for-1 change in same locations.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go to room selection because that's what we're all here about, right?
That's right.
We need to select that room to begin with. So we're going to click on Fall Spring. And it's going to say, okay, it's room selection time. Are you part of a special population? And here are the populations that they list. So Honors College, Living Learning Community. If you're accepted to that, you can select in the Honors College. Student Support Services, if you've done their application and you're ready for assignment, you can select a room in Beta Hall, which is where their program is housed. And if you have an ACE application that's complete for the summer, fall, and spring, you can either select a room in the ACE floor or anywhere else on campus. So if I want to live with fake guy who's in who's got a general housing application and I'm an ACE student, I can still live with fake guy. I just can't put fake guy in my room in the ACE floor because fake guy is not part of the ACE program. So if I was in a special population, I would click here. I'm not. I have a regular housing application and I'm not in the Honors College because I'm not that smart. So here I am. I'm going to go to begin general room selection, and here's a whole timeline of all the calendars that we kind of went over earlier. Mm-hmm. If you remember, Wednesday the 10th through March 15th, it's new students only, and then from 10 a.m. through June 30th is everybody from March 15th at 10 a.m. And then room change self-service will open at 10 a.m. as well through June 30th. So we're going to begin general room selection. And if you missed something, don't worry, we can go back to it. Andy will get the question in the chat.
Yeah,
so here's the welcome screen for room selection. It just says welcome, and this is what you're going to be doing. You're going to be selecting a room. And it already selects what terms. You can't get a fall only room selection. You have to do fall and spring with the fall and spring housing application. We actually don't offer a fall only. But if you're going to be a student who's only here for one semester, let's say you're an exchange student, or you're studying abroad and you need housing, if you are leaving campus for those reasons, those are some approved reasons to leave and cancel your housing. But we can talk more about that later. So it says, do you have a roommate group? Well, it just happens that I do have a roommate, Fake Guy. And so there he is. And so I'm going to be able to proceed with Fake Guy. And so I'm going to click continue. Now, if Fake Guy wasn't ready for some reason, let's say he either left the group or
maybe he didn't turn in his immunizations like he was supposed to.
Well, he wouldn't have been in your group then.
Oh.
Or maybe there was maybe he bounced his check and the fee was no longer paid.
Okay.
Who knows? It's very rare that anybody gets taken out by us. It would really be they left the group. So we always recommend click on this link if you're not sure what the rates are, and it'll take you to where you can find the rates on our website. And it will basically, I think I have a rates. So eventually you'll get to the rates page, which looks like this. It's a PDF you can download, you can print. I would suggest, like I said earlier, have that conversation with your parent or guardian if they're going to be helping you pay for your room. So here's a whole bunch of tips. Please review them because we want to make sure you're well aware of what you're doing when you're clicking a room. So you can show a map result or you can show a table result, and you can toggle by going back and forth with display map, display table. If you click display table from the map, you're going to be shown this. If you click display map, you're going to be shown this. If you're looking for a single room, just because there's only one bed icon in the room does not mean it's a single room. It just means that that other room is not available for your population to select. And so we do hold rooms for athletes. We hold rooms for study abroad. We hold rooms for an RA, though we don't have RAs with roommates.
Our international students?
International students. We have a bunch of populations that we may have made a room unavailable for you to select. Now, I have talked to the software manufacturer actually today about making it so all rooms show up, just not be selectable. But unfortunately, that's not possible right now. So we're making sure that you're looking at all the information you can. And I'll show you a demonstration of what this looks like. So Dave, make sure your roommate's compatible. Yes, Sandy.
Dave, hold on one second. If you scroll back up for just a second, I see a clock. What is that clock?
Okay, I was going to get to that when we're actually selecting a room.
All right, I'll be patient and wait then.
Okay. If you hover, if you click on a bed that isn't available, let's say this red bed, you can see the answers to the 6 questions. You won't see the person's name, you won't see their gender, but their gender has to match you if you're available. If you have a green bed in that room. So green means go, red means stop. You can't select a red bed, but you can select a green bed. Just because there's one bed in this room doesn't mean that it doesn't have another bed. It just means it's not available. But of course, this bed's not available for you to select either. But you can see the answers. So if you're a night person and you know you don't want to live with anybody who isn't the night person, then you want to make sure you're checking for I'm a night person, and that's a yes, if you're a yes, because you may not find a compatible match then. For the parents and guardians watching, please make sure your student fills these out, because you may not know if they smoke. Yes, that really does happen. Or, you know, they may not smoke all the time, but they may smoke when they go out. And they come back smelling like cigarettes, and no one wants to live with, and a lot of people don't even want to live with someone who smokes outside. If you're cleaning their room every week, that doesn't mean they're neat, that means you're neat. And so you want to make sure that all these answers are being answered faithfully and honestly, because people may be using these to select a room. You can search by criteria, and I'll show you what this looks like. So unit style is apartment, suite, traditional. Bedroom style, single, triple, double. Well, single, double, triple. Bathroom style, private, shared, or hall style, or hall, down the hall, essentially a hall bathroom. Kitchen and unit is a yes or no, or room type description. I wouldn't encourage you using that too much because it may be a little bit misleading unless you know what the descriptions are. And then when in doubt, that's why we're open till 9 on Wednesday and Thursday. Please call us. Or if it's during the day after those dates, you can call us Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. So we've read all that. We understand all that. We have a plan. Let's go and actually select a room. So here we are. It says up here, time remaining to complete a room selection. Once you select a room, you have 5 minutes to review it. So review your selection. But, you know, I want a suite. No, I want an apartment with a single bedroom and a private bathroom. I basically just want to live alone and have my own bathroom in an apartment with a kitchen and a living room. Search. I find no beds. We don't offer that here at USF.
So what I'm hearing you say is the more criteria you put in for those searches, the narrower the search will be, and the less likely something will be available.
Right. I mean, even if I add kitchen, yes, which every apartment has a kitchen, and search, I'm still going to get 0 because none of our apartments are for one person, which means they have a private bathroom. Now I can change private bathroom to shared and search. And there are 98 different options that I can choose from right now. And it's going to show me in the map, where are they? So there are options here in the green box. Don't be afraid, you may have to scroll over. And there are options here in the green box. If there's a red box, there are no options available for me.
Okay, so 2 things I took away from that, Dave, is number 1, if you leave something blank, it'll be okay. It'll still search for you, right? And then 2 is that the map is needs to be slid left and right to see the entire thing, right? So you should be afraid to go up and down and left and right to find those boxes.
Okay. I mean, I can also go to the table display table, and it's going to update the screen and it's going to show everything that's available on a table format. Not as easy maybe to search, or maybe you've got specific areas of the building you want to live in, and so I find that a lot of our students really like the map view. Oh
yeah, I definitely think that's much easier to find my location. And
right, because when you're in the map view, you can still expand here as like a way to get to somewhere quick. So maybe you've done your research and you're like, oh, I really like Holly A because it's right by the village. But I don't want to live on the first floor. I want to live on the 3rd floor so I have a view. So I could just click on 3rd floor and drum roll. There it is. 3rd floor shows up.
Oh, look at that. All the options available on a 3rd floor. That was fast.
And so anything in green, remember, you still may have to scroll. But here's is this a 2-bed apartment? No, these 2 rooms are rooms. You just can't see the bed because they're reserved for another group.
Gotcha. So 302C and 302D have been selected by other students who are eligible to select, but A and B are being held for students who are.
And look, I can even see what even though I can't live there, I can see what their preferences were.
Oh, that's fantastic. Or at least you can get to know your pod mates a little bit. Right?
But I can go here and there are 2 beds here available for me. Well, what's this person like? Okay, there are no, yes, 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 no, no. This person doesn't like or doesn't want to live with an animal. Okay. I don't have an ESA, but I could, or I don't have a service animal. And this person is a no, yes, 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 no, no. Hey, just like the other one.
Oh.
So if those were my answers as well, maybe I'd pick one of these rooms. So I know there's a bathroom across the hall from both rooms, really. The sinks are in between the 2 bathrooms. I know that because I've done my research about Holly. But I wanted to be as far away from the kitchen and living room as possible. So I think, or kitchen and living room. This is living room. So let me see. Oh, wait, there's a D room available. What's this person like? Let me find out. I click on the bed. Oh, that's really close to what I am. You know, I don't really mind about the service animal because I don't have one. So maybe whoa, what happened there? I clicked in the middle of the hallway and it's doing something. Oh, it just switched from to the other view. Okay, let's go back. That might be a little glitch in the program. I might have to look into that. So let's see. That was the D room.
So Dave, maybe that wasn't the building for you. Maybe
yeah, I could go to a different building. There's display map. I got it back. So yeah, maybe I want to change buildings. Maybe I want to be on the south side of campus in Magnolia. So I can look down here. Magnolia C's got a lot of rooms available. It's a shortcut to get there. Okay, what does this mean? See, outside of the building. Anywhere there's a green box, there might be a room that's good for you. So you can click on, remember I want to be on the top floor, so I clicked on the top floor, and now it's going to bring me to the top floor plan. There it is.
I see. So when you click just the Cypress Magnolia, or I'm sorry, Building Magnolia C Apartments, that you get the whole building. So then you pick what floor you want from that point.
Yep, you can do that as well.
Okay. So we can either go directly by clicking on the floor, or if we click the building, then we can click on a visual floor. Okay. Right.
And so, you know what? I really like that third floor room, though. I like the D room. And so I'm going to select it. So let's go back down, and I'm going to select here.
Now, are you selecting this one for you, or are you selecting this for you?
I'm selecting this for me. I forgot I do have a roommate, don't I?
Yeah, you have Fake Guy. I mean, where's he hanging out?
I forgot about Fake Guy, but you know what? Maybe we want to. He likes to cook, and so he wants the A room.
Oh, that's a good point. Okay.
So and he's a night guy. Even though we're really good friends, he's a party animal. You know, he likes to be up later. He likes to cook and entertain, and hopefully we'll be able to do all that next year. We're not sure yet, but we have high hopes that we will. But I'm going to put myself here, screen demo. And I know Fake Guy wants the A room, and so I'm going to put Fake Guy in the A room. Now, if I decide, I only have 14 minutes left to decide this, by the way, or 4 minutes left at this point.
Oh, this is like
clock has started.
This is like Ticketmaster or StubHub, right? You've got to then lock it in.
Right. You've locked this for 5 minutes. No one else can select this space until you release it or the time expires. So if I wanted to release it, I can pick a different room. But if I'm good with this, I can continue. Okay, here's the details. You got to review it because we want to make sure you're good. So Holly A, yep, that looks right. I know that the rate for a single is $44.50. Fake Guy, he said he was okay with an apartment, so he's good. He's an A, and yep, he's in the A room. What's this?
Oh, this is important because we actually had a question about this. What happens if you select your room, but decide you want to cancel later? So this, let's talk a little bit about this, right? This
is new for this. Well, it's not that it's new. We've always had cancellation terms. However, the process is a little different this year, and so we're highlighting it and making sure that you did read it. And if you're not sure about it, you can click here, and it'll come up.
And these are terms.
Read it again.
And these are the cancellation verbatim terms that students agreed to when they applied for housing initially. Correct. Okay, so nothing's changed. We're just resharing that these are the terms and conditions of that section of the agreement.
And so the section we really want you to look at is the eligibility to cancel. Because, you know, after the whole COVID thing, we learned a valuable lesson that people aren't necessarily reading this very well. Even when we highlighted it and made it its own addendum about COVID, they still didn't read it very well. And so we're highlighting that you are only eligible to cancel your room assignment and your application if you fall into one of these categories.
Okay.
If you don't select a room at all, you can cancel.
All right.
You haven't taken up any space. That you haven't prevented another person from getting a room. If you're not enrolled for these reasons, or one of these reasons, you graduate, you just don't register. You've joined the military, or you've been called up for active duty, and my time is going to run out. So I'm not going to worry too much, because I'm going to release my room.
So, well, Dave, let me say, so if I'm good and I go through this, right, and I agree, I'm just reaffirming that, yes, I've read the terms and conditions, and I understand what I'm getting into. What happens next?
Okay, so I've read all that. I understand it. Fake Guy and I have talked about it. I'm going to click here because I have to in order to move over. If I don't click here and I click submit, you haven't acknowledged it. So you need to go and acknowledge.
Okay, so that's a required thing, is to make sure that you review it before the time expires.
And then you click submit. Now, I didn't show you something, so I'm going to go back. I want to show you one other thing, because we didn't do that. I'm going to pick a different room. I'm just going to quickly pick a room. Just get there really fast. 5th floor, why not? Go to the 5th floor. Because I know we're running out of time, and I want to make sure we have plenty of time. There's rooms on both sides. Select there. Okay, I'm going to pick this room. It can fit both of us. Ooh, there's an idea. Let me go back. Pick a different space. I forgot. I have 2 people in my room. Can I pick a room with only one person? Let's find out. In a traditional style, I don't believe you can pick a room if it doesn't have 2 beds.
Doesn't look like it. It looks like 529, 527 are single beds, but I don't think you can select them because
we check Caster. Maybe there's a room that has 1 bed that's already selected. Okay, so I think you're right, Andy. I think that you can only select a room that has 2 beds available. So maybe that's why these aren't available, because I can't split us up unless I drop Fake Guy from my roommate group first.
So Dave, while we're on the screen real quick, what I'm seeing here is single options available for students.
Yeah, there are single options available.
So we have single options available. We were just in beta. I'm looking at Caster now. Maple, I believe, is the other option that has singles, and Maple are suites, correct?
Well, there are singles in apartment style, in Maple, and in beta and Caster, but the rooms in beta and Caster, for the majority of those singles, are what we call super singles. It's a double room that we're only going to assign 1 person to this year. And so it's a great opportunity to get the extra space. You are going to pay a different charge.
Okay.
But you get the room all to yourself. And in Maple, it's a double room and a double room that share a bathroom, and both sides are single rooms, and so it's only 2 people sharing a bath.
Okay, so I'm let's say you're selecting for you, and I'm going to select for me, and I choose 256. Then it's just me, 1 set of furniture, and a lot of extra space for me and my stuff, and maybe my gaming console, or maybe other things like that. Oh, okay, that's great.
Yep. So, and you notice Maple doesn't show up on this list?
Well, I think it's based on how you selected, right?
But I don't have anything selected there. You know why? I don't know if there's a room left for me in Maple.
Oh, that's unfortunate. All right, I'll have to get it next time.
Yeah.
I'll have to get it next
maybe
time.
I can find it in a room change later on. So I'm going to quickly select this room because I also want to show you that when you're selecting the space, you can double check. Is this a double? Definitely, it's a double room. It says double.
Okay.
And then, I want to know a little bit more information about the bed space. Here's all that information. Double room, hall bathroom, no kitchen in the unit. That's what it's called. This is all the information, and this is how much it costs.
That's great information. That way people can make a really good informed decision.
Right. So that's a way to double check. Is it a room for 2 people or a room for 1 person?
Fantastic.
If it's a room for one person, it's going to say single somewhere in it. If it's a room for 2 people, it's going to say double, or it's going to say triple.
Okay.
So again, we're going through all this. I'm going to click yes, and I'm going to click submit. And now I'm going to get an email, and Fake Guy is going to get an email saying, hey, you just assigned yourself to a room, or have been assigned, and you're done.
We're ready to get moved in now already, huh?
Yep, and you can check and see who your roommate is by clicking on that, just if you want to verify it, because we had some people that did that, because they're like, did I just select a double room? So I'm going to check for the fall, and I'm going to preview it. And it's going to say it. There I am. I'm living with Fake Guy. Here's my preferences. Look, we have this. Oh, he's not a neat person. I don't know. I'm thinking about the room change out of Fake Guy, because he's not a clean person. He's been making a mess apparently. But I get my mailing address. If you need to, for insurance purposes, get the physical building address. It's listed here. All that information is right here in this report, and you can always run that from the my account information. So that's room selection. That's roommate group manager. Let's go back to questions, unless you have other things you want me to show.
So Dave, so just real quick, I'm taking your screen down and I'm bringing you back. Okay. So what I'm seeing in some of the questions is that that we're still interested in a lot about this summer process. This will mirror the summer process, right? You'll just choose a different time or application to select, right? So you choose your summer application and go in and then do your room selection in the exact same manner.
When you click on assign, when summer opens, it's going to be green, and it won't say sorry, not unavailable, come back at a later time. It'll be green, and then you'll go in and you'll select room selection, not room change, not room swap, room selection, and you'll just go through the same process. We just don't have as many buildings available during the summer.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And that should be available very soon. I don't think we have a date on that yet, right? But it's in the next.
Room selection for summer it begins on March 17th.
March 17th. There you go. March 17th for summer. So, all right. So some Q&A time. You ready? We've got some really good ones.
I'm ready. Do you want to switch back off my screen, or am I still sharing?
No, it's still on you. So
okay, I'm gonna close my screen. Okay.
So the question is from Anya. Do you have a notification system if a room becomes available in a building you were not able to get on your first try?
Boy, that's a great idea, but no, we don't. I'll have to look into something like that. There is some waitlist functionality that's available in our software, but I don't think it works in that way, but I can research that. Right now, for people who want to keep looking, right now we just say, you know what, it can change at a moment's notice. And so if that's what you're interested in, a different room, you just need to keep logging in and checking the room change option up until June 30th at midnight. I just got my email saying that I completed my room selection, and so did Fake Guy. So I would say go and keep looking for that. I'll be honest right now. If you're somebody who wants a suite with a bathroom to yourself in a single room in the village, we had a lot of them last year because when we opened up Pinnacle 3 years ago now, I believe, Pinnacle was not opened at full capacity.
Right.
It was opened up as all the rooms are single rooms. And so we had somewhere around 190 single rooms, and about a third of them had their own bathroom. We don't have that anymore. When it was opened, the original plan was this year to go to the standard capacity, which is double rooms. And so that has happened. And so if you're looking for a room to yourself with your own bathroom, they're going to be very hard to find and very hard to come by. There are not a lot of them to begin with, and we hold many of them for our students with disabilities who require that in order to be successful here at USF. And so I understand that a lot of people feel it's a necessity because, you know, maybe you've never shared a bathroom, never shared a bedroom growing up, part of the great thing about living on a college campus and going to college is meeting people, having a shared experience. And one of the ways you do that is by living with someone maybe you've never even met before. I am still very good friends with people I met in college 30 plus years ago. Yep, I outed myself. I went to college a very long time ago. But I am still friends with them today. They were part of my wedding, even though I got married about 15 years after I left college. And so they are going to be your friends for life, and probably because you lived with them. And so don't be afraid to have those relationships. That's what college is all about.
You're 100% right. I still I share the same experience. My college roommate was I'd never met before, never talked to him, showed up, and I was like, "Hey, how you doing? I'm Andy." And he's like, "I'm Layson." And he was at my wedding as one of my groomsmen. We still talk to this day and get together for lunch once in a while. Now that he's come back to the Tampa Bay area, so it's good fun. Dave, so we have some LLC questions I want to jump on real quick. So I think I heard you say that if you're an honors or part of the ACE program or the SSS program, you can select your room with room selection. But we have a number of other living learning communities that that were not listed there. How do they get assigned? What about roommate preferences? How does that process work?
Sure. The LOCs that are not the Honors College, not the Honors LOC, they will actually indicate to us where they want people assigned. And they will send us a roster. Now, there is a question on, I think, all the LOC applications asking if you have a roommate preference. But remember, the important thing is that roommate needs to be in the LOC as well. And so that's really where it gets a little challenging. And so if you have a roommate who's not in the LLC, then you have a decision to make. Do you participate in the LLC and not live with them? Or do you not participate in the LLC and live with them? Something that I would like to tell everybody about is it's not always a good idea to live with your best friend from home. I've seen many of relationship die in the first 3 weeks because they were best friends at home, but they never lived together. And so it's a lot different to have someone around for 24 hours a day than it was to have them around for 12 hours a day. And so maybe the habits that you never knew about come out when you're actually living with them. However, that being said, if you're not living with your best friend, then you have two places to hang out. And so don't be afraid not to live with your best friend, because they're going to have a group of people that they meet. You're going to have a group of people that you meet, and now you just doubled the group of people you know.
That's a great example. Great example of being able to branch out and really get into the college experience. So, Dave, what is the timeline for knowing whether or not you've been accepted into the LLC? We've got a couple of questions regarding that, and can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it really varies, but based on the LLC partner. If you have not received your acceptance, and you definitely know you want to be living on campus, even if it's not in the LLC, go ahead and select your room. If you already have a room, they're gonna just ask us to move you, and typically a lot of them will ask you, even though it's been on the application, they said yes, and you've had to answer yes, please move me once I get accepted. They typically will reach out to you and say, okay, we've accepted you, we want to move you to X building, are you still okay with that? But I don't want you to miss out on room selection because you haven't heard back from them. Always feel free to reach out to Living Learning at usf.edu if you have questions, because they're going to respond to you and hopefully get you in touch with your LLC director or advisor or whatever their title is, and try to get you that answer sooner rather than later.
That's a good point. And I just thought about one of the fundamental things is how many people may not know what an LLC is. And those are living learning communities. And we have academic as well as program specific based living learning communities. And if you are interested in that, we have all of them listed out on our website. And I would encourage you to go and explore and to dive into them a little bit deeper. And if you need assistance or you want to talk to somebody about them, we can email us at livinglearning@usf.edu, and we would be more than happy to talk to you a little bit more about that, what this experience like. So. So I think that may be it as I'm scanning our questions in Living Learning.
I see a bunch that might be really good to, well, that aren't necessarily an LSC question. But.
Right. So so let's see here. Someone asked, what is our move-in date? We have our calendar updated, I believe, all the way through spring opening, spring 2022. Wow, that sounds so far away, but it's not. On our website. So if you want to jump over to our website, usf.edu/housing, and click under, I think it is resources and then calendar. You can see the calendar for now through the rest of at least the calendar year. So it will have the fall move-in date. It will have all the summer move-in, move-out dates. So everybody can start planning. So.
And right now we don't anticipate a change.
We do not. We
do
not.
Point, so.
We are planning hard at work, planning to get everybody here and welcomed as much as we can. So so Dave, one of the questions that have come up is, will my summer assignment roll into my fall spring assignment? That's a good
I was looking at that one myself. Okay, so obviously you now know we have two different selection processes, one for fall, spring, and one for summer. Most of the time, because we only have a few buildings open for summer, most of the time you're not in the same room for fall. And we do the fall selection first so that you have an opportunity to then try to select the same room for summer if that's what you want. However, even if you're in the same room, doesn't mean you can just stay. So, you know, for the summer right now, we have Beta, Maple, some of the Holly buildings, and Endeavor will be open for our summer B residents. And if you're an SSS student, you'll be in the same room for fall as you are for summer, because their program is specific to Beta Hall, which is open this summer. If you're in the ACE program, you'll be staying in Cypress B this summer, and possibly Maple A if they need more space. However, your fall assignment would be in Poplar if you're going to stay with the ACE cohort. And so the majority, 95, 98% of our students will actually move to a different room from summer to fall. That being said, there is a 10-week window of time between the end of summer, 10-week. Boy, that would be interesting. No, it's like 10 to 12 days. There's a window of time where what we call between the semester or the break. And so you can sign up, if you're a summer student, you can sign up to move to your fall assignment before you, and stay in your fall assignment directly after your summer assignment. And so that would occur on August 7th, which is a Saturday, which is the last day of the summer B term. And then you would move to your fall assignment on August 7th if you requested that. However, there is an additional fee if you request that. So we do want to make sure you are aware of that, and you'll learn more about that after you check in for summer B.
Awesome. So Dave, another question that has come up, and I'm going to go back to roommate groups for just a second, is Darren asks, is there a way to know whether the prospective roommate is also a freshman so you don't end up rooming with a senior?
Unfortunately, we don't share that information on the software. There is some information that isn't necessarily available for public viewing, and unfortunately, that's one of the items we can't share. And so, and we don't actually have a freshman-only building. We haven't found that always to be advantageous. The freshmen are often grouped in groups together, but that just happens through the typical selection process. But unfortunately, there is no way to determine that until after you can find out how to contact them. And that's after you've selected the room. Now, my best suggestion is if you don't have anybody in mind right now, go onto the Facebook groups. Say, hey, I'm looking for a roommate. These are some of the interests that I have. And I already know that this is happening out there on Facebook. And so if you're not a member of Facebook, maybe you want to get an account just to do the class of 2025. And there's only one official class of group, and that's actually managed by housing.
That
And
is
so
correct.
there may be some imitators, but no one as good as we are. We only let students in, and then a couple of other folks from the university. It is a safe space, no parents, unless you happen to be a student of a parent at the university who's on the group. I think we've had a few of those in the past.
We have.
Those parents have tried very hard not to snoop on their student.
Yes, and so we actually have a number of different areas. You can go right from our homepage and click on the link to our official class of page. We will ask if you have been admitted to the class of. Right now we're admitting to 2025, which is our primary audience, and we will then check and validate and make sure that you are actually an admitted student with the university. So parents and family members, I encourage you to go over and visit the parent and family engagement Facebook page and follow them. They share a lot of information, not just about housing, but a lot of university events and things like that. And so I would encourage you to go over and make sure that you like their page. And I believe that they also have a new platform launching soon where you have some different engagement opportunities. So that's a great resource to keep up with what's going on.
I think we need to do a lightning round, Andy.
I know, right?
Start asking me questions.
Yeah, we only have a few more minutes. So Dave, one of the questions that has come up, and I'm trying to find it again, is Angela asks, am I correct that if you cancel your room selection without penalty by 6:30, so that's a question, can she cancel her room selection without penalty by 6:30? Does that also include rooms in the village?
Okay, remember, you need to review that cancellation section of the agreement. You can only cancel if you're eligible to cancel. Now, in the past, it's been a little different. The eligibility has been a little bit wider and a little bit more relaxed. But now you need to fall into one of those 6 areas. Didn't select a room, but you've already said you've selected a room. So that means, are you enrolled? If you're not enrolled at the university, you can cancel. That's a reason to cancel. And there are reasons for non-enrollment that may or may not include a fee. So if you're a student who is not sure USF is where you want to be, but you want to make sure you have the room that you want before you make that decision, select a room. And you'll have until May 1st to cancel for non-enrollment without a fee.
Okay, so what you're saying is once I select a room, then I have to have an eligibility criteria in order to cancel.
Yes, and so you don't have until, it really doesn't matter how long you wait, you need to land in that eligibility. But the longer you wait, there may be fees based on your eligibility. Right.
Okay. So very, very important. Make sure that you are fully aware of the cancellation terms, right? And so knowing that you are, once you select a room, that you are then committing to fully agreeing to them, right? And that you will not be able to cancel without meeting one of those criteria. And making sure that if you do meet a criteria and that you are canceling, that you review the dates if there is a financial impact to that decision.
Exactly.
So good point. All right, so we have time for a couple more questions, and I'm just kind of scanning through them. I know we touched on this and what those couple of icons were between room switch and room swap, or room change and room swap, but it says, are you able to switch rooms or room swap roommates?
So you are. Once you have a room, you can certainly do a room change. Mm-hmm. And if you want to swap with another individual, as long as both of you agree, you can do those swaps as well.
All right. So next question, will FAFSA and Bright Futures be able to pay for housing?
Okay, the way FAFSA and Bright Futures work is Bright Futures puts the amount of money it costs to pay based on your Bright Futures allotment. So let's say you're 100%. It pays for tuition at 100% for, I think, local fees. So you want to check which Bright Futures, but let's say your tuition is $1,000, Bright Futures will cover $1,000. It just puts $1,000 into your account. Whether or not tuition is already satisfied or paid off, it doesn't matter. It just puts $1,000. So let's say you get your whole bill with housing is $9,000 for tuition and housing and dining. You get $6,000 in financial aid, you get $3,000 in tuition, and you got another couple of scholarships that total $2,000. That is $11,000 that I think I just totaled up. $3,000, $2,000, and $6,000. And your bill is only $9,000. You'll get $2,000 back. If you only have $7,000 in aid between Bright Futures, FAFSA, and other, then you're going to still owe $2,000. And that money that you owe for $2,000 for would either be for housing and or dining, depending on the schedule, which is tuition gets paid first, housing gets paid next, fees get paid third, and dining gets paid last. And so as long as everything gets covered, then it's whatever's left, and that's what you'd owe out of pocket.
All right. So Dave, we're continuing with the lightning round as we only have a couple more minutes. Can you live in a building that has an LLC in it without being a member of that LLC? That question comes from Sophia.
Yes, you can, because most buildings with an LLC are not the entire building. Not even the honors program has all of Juniper. They have most of Juniper, but not all of it. Now, Juniper is a tough example because the rest of it is taken up by another LLC. But if those LLCs do not fill by that June 15th date that I talked about earlier, then we will release the rest of those rooms to the general population to select. And so even if you've already selected a room, you can then room change into Juniper. And so there is an opportunity to still live in Juniper. And I can tell you right now that they haven't, it's been a long time since Honors has filled all their initial bed allotment. And so typically they will have non-honor students living in Juniper. And then all the other LLCs are not large enough to take up an entire building. So yes, you can. Maybe not on the same floor, but certainly in the same building.
Okay. So, so there is one question on here that I wanted to just address with regards to some of the roommate preferences. When we note that there are that the roommate has a preference, or you have a preference of smoking, it does not mean that there is smoking in the building. We are technically a tobacco and smoke-free campus, and so there is no smoking at all on campus. And definitely 100% not permitted in the residence halls. You cannot do that. So that is just a characteristic of the individual that they prefer to participate in that activity. It does not necessarily mean that you can smoke in the room itself.
And so I still ask that question just for the reason of you can go off campus and smoke, but you come back smelling like it.
That is true.
And so that's why we still ask that question.
Yeah. All right, so Dave, most of the questions I see here left are going to be for more individualized items, and so if we did not get your question today, or you have a very specific request that is very detailed to just you, please feel free to email us at housing@usf.edu or give us a call tomorrow at 813 974-0001. And we will be happy to address those on a one-on-one basis. But Dave, before we wrap, any final thoughts or any tips that you want to give everybody as we move into Wednesday?
Boy, I've been trying to scan some of the questions that have been coming over while we're talking, and there are a lot of great questions, and it's great to see so many people excited about living on campus. And I can see the stress level going up a little bit after every question that's being asked. You're going to have a great time at USF regardless of where you live. So don't feel like your life's been ruined because you don't get exactly what you're thinking that you want right now, because you may not really know exactly what you want. I like to tell people the experience is what you make of it, not what we made of it for you. And I get a lot of people to say, well, this is what they should be doing. I'm like, no, they should be doing what they want to do as long as it's within our policies. But I can't make you feel good about where you are. Only you can make you feel good about where you are. And remember that we talked about it earlier. Roommates, we always hear about the random roommate. You can have a great random roommate. And sometimes it's even better than the person you knew from home. And they can become your new best friend. I have a best friend from home. I have a best friend from college, and I have a best friend from my early professional career, and I'm forming best friends now. And I already got a post, I think, from one of them while we were chatting here. I think you know what I'm talking about.
I saw that.
But I mean, it is what you make of it. Rooms go fast, especially our single rooms. So if you're someone who wants a single room, I hope you've gotten everything done, because they don't last. I'll be honest. We don't have an inexhaustible supply of them. And so if you want a single room, you're going to look for the apartments primarily, or you could just, like I said, use that search function. It's really critical. Search by bedroom type. If you want a single, put single. If you want a single with a private bath, don't do it, because it doesn't happen. It's more than likely, you could try it, but just be prepared for 0 results. If you're not sure, then hold off. You don't have to select tomorrow or Wednesday or Thursday or whatever your first day of selection is. You can wait. There are people who are like, what if I meet someone later on? You will meet someone later on. Happens every summer, probably 100 times, and that's why we give you the ability to do a self-room change. We used to do the room change for you after you submit a request, and then we're going through 800-900 requests for a room change. Now you have the ability to do it yourself. And so if you're not sure how to do something, please give us a call, send us an email. We're pretty good at getting back to them. Just be aware that right now we're busy. There is a new opportunity to actually schedule a call with us, which we didn't talk about today. It's called Bullpen Booking, I believe is the name of it. It's new.
It is.
And you can go to our website, click on the Bullpen Booking link, and actually schedule a time for us to call you back. The only thing we ask is don't call up us to debate a cancellation fee or an appeal. We could talk to you about process, but we're not going to debate that with you via that call, because we have a process built for that. And so, but if you have questions about room selection and you don't want to do hit and miss, though, we're very good at getting through phone calls. We have very small wait times. You can always go onto that app and actually request a 15-minute or a half-hour time slot to talk to one of our staff members. And they are all excellent, and they will all give you all the information that you need.
That's a really, really great point. I mean, Bullpen Booking is really designed to be a very personalized experience. We can talk to you about different options within your room selection, east facing, west facing, south facing, whatever it is that you want to discuss with us. So really, really great opportunity. So with that, I wanted to say on behalf of the entire Housing and Residential Education team, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Dave, thank you for spending a little bit of time with us. We're really appreciative of all your wisdom and knowledge, and the team that you have working to make this such an incredible experience. So Again, if you have any questions for our team, you feel free to contact us Monday through Friday from 8 to 5 p.m. via phone at 813-974-0001, or you can email us at housing@usf.edu, or you can use Bullpen Booking and we'll call you. So don't forget to register for orientation. If you haven't done so, registration open today. That is a critical component to being able to select your room. So hop on the USF.
You do have to pay your admissions deposit in order to go through registration.
So another great point. So in order to register for orientation, you have to pay your admissions deposit.
As a first-year student, not a transfer.
All right, perfect. Again, new student selection begins this Wednesday, March the 10th at 4 p.m. Current student room selection resumes on March 15th, and all summer selection begins on March 17th. So on behalf, again, of the Housing and Residential Education team and everyone here at USF, thank you again for tuning in. Until next time, go Bulls.